what you got. Oh, I can't see tomorrow. Gotta live, try to get a little wiggle room, the rest don't stop. Quid pro quo, I need the best y'all got. Tryna make a dollar, flip it like it's vinyl. Tryna make a way. What's it worth to you if the price too high? Quid pro quo, I need the best y'all got. Give me your best. Don't say nothing less, cause I'm giving you 100. How you always leaving me with nothing? I'm not impressed. It's gonna take more than this, cause I'm giving you 100. And I don't even know if I can trust you for nothing.
Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday, March the 14th, 2023. I hope everybody is well. Hope everybody's up and rolling this morning. Good morning to everybody. Well, look at Lynn Garrett. Lynn Garrison first in the door. Good morning, Mama. How are you? Anne Marie, good morning. How are you? Michelle T, what's happening? Good morning. Hope everybody is great. Looking forward to a fantastic day today. It's going to be Y'all, I'm ready for this weather to change. I'm ready for it to be warm. I'm ready for it to be done being cold. I'm ready for it to stop. I'm ready. This is that time of year where it just can't make up its mind whether or not it wants to freeze you to death or burn you at the stake. I wish it would make up its mind and do what it's going to do for sure. Sorry, I'm getting me set up here. For sure. Hope everybody's great. I fought through a tough day yesterday, so I'm super pumped about this morning. Good morning, Michelle. I hope you are rocking on day, what's this, 73, isn't it? So we have 3 more days. I just realized something yesterday, y'all, and this is, well, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it for Vanessa. She must have slept in this morning. I will be honest with y'all, this time change, and I am not sure what's going on. If it's just me finally being back in the bed with my wife that makes me just want to stay in the bed. But I have struggled the last 2 mornings getting up, and I'm just being authentic with y'all. I've been super, super soft. As Michelle would say, I listened to my bitch voice the last 2 mornings and hadn't gotten up when I wanted to get up and hadn't done what I needed to do. So I am being very authentic with you guys that it happens to all of us, right? It happens to everybody. I don't know. Where's everybody at this morning, y'all? Missing everybody this morning, but let's go ahead and get started. The ones that are here, I'm sure they'll start waking up in a second and joining us. As they wake up and rub the cobwebs out of their eyes, they'll hopefully get on the call. Don't forget just some housekeeping things. Wednesday, we are doing the meeting tomorrow in Madison. So we are going to have that meeting in Madison. I know what my thought is, what my hope is that we have some conversations with some people tomorrow afternoon after the meeting. And then I'm hoping that we're just going to hang tight down there. I don't know what we're going to do. And that me making plans like this I usually shoot myself in the foot, but I'd love to have Thursday as well to have some one-on-one conversations with folks down there that we need to. I'd love to figure out a way if you guys are having want to have some conversations with us face to face, because I know here, and maybe I'll talk about this in a second, but it almost feels like the closer we're getting to the end, the more angst there is. It's weird that I just said that, because the closer I get to 7 day 75, the more angst I feel, right? I'm starting to pay attention to this and not pay attention to that. I'm starting to change the way that I'm looking, because I've only got 2-3 days left, that I'm looking at it differently than I looked at it even last week. So I don't want us to get to the point where we're getting to the end and start to lose our bearings. Okay. I want us to stay focused on where we're going, what we're doing, and where we're about to head. So that's a little reset for y'all, but I would, like I said, would love to find some time Thursday if I can figure out a way to stay down there, that direction for folks in that, Greensboro, Madison, Milledgeville area. If y'all want to talk and have conversations, we can, but we're that close. So I'm hoping to get some things done today, but get some things rolling in the right direction. And that way everybody can feel great moving forward. I know, y'all, this has been a fantastically challenging past 4 or 5 months with y'all, and we love you guys for hanging in there and sticking with us and showing some moxie, showing some resolve, and hanging in there with us. So the message I've got this morning is, I think, pretty good. I wish more people were on here, but we'll just rock and roll with what we've got. My name's Aaron Dwyer, and my wife Christy Dwyer and we started Exit Realty Lake Country, and I heard this the other day, and I'm going to add this maybe to this morning introduction. And in that, we're a coaching company that happens to list and sell real estate, and that's really what we've designed ourselves to be, is a coaching company that sells real estate. We wake up every single day, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, to share some nuggets with our agents, and this is where it started. And just to stay connected, say hello, and offer some motivation, maybe some words of encouragement. Do something in the morning so that our agents get off on the right foot, because we know that if we can help our agents, we can help people get off on the right foot and have a fantastic morning, that their chances of having a fantastic day go up exponentially. So again, if we can string enough fantastic days together, we can have a fantastic life, because this is really about incremental and not monumental. So good morning and welcome, and let's get this thing rolling. So if you're here with us this morning, you're getting up live, and you jump on here and you see this thing and you want to come in and say hello, then please, by all means, enter your name in the comments. Let me know that you're here. Shoot us a good morning so that we know that you're watching with us. If you watch it later in the day, then we are happy that you're taking some time to watch this, and hopefully something that is said today will benefit you and help you in some way to have an awesome day. So let's get rolling, y'all. Let's get this thing going. Today we are on day number 24. Yeah, day number 24. So we've been going through, just as a reminder, Grant Cardone's 32 Things Successful People Do from his book, The 10X Rule. Again, I'm going to encourage you, if you've not put the 10X Rule, that book, on your to-do list, you need to put the 10X Rule on your to-do list. Not that Grant Cardone is some unbelievable prognosticator of all things success, but dude has put together something pretty significant and fantastic, from coming from nothing to where he is now. It's a pretty cool story. And the 10X Rule is a book that just talks about you being able to work your face off. I just lost you on my iPad. I'm gonna keep on rolling. It's a book that talks about that we just have to 10X our efforts sometimes. We have to 10X what we do sometimes. That life requires of us a level here, but we got to push to a level here. Life requires us to be here, but we got to go to here. And so I want to show a video this morning. I think it's applicable not to only what we're talking about in this what we're talking about right now, that successful people just don't have goals and dreams, but they have big goals and dreams. We get into this thing, I believe, as human beings. We get into this mode of comfort. We get into this mode of, Michelle Tilson, what does Andy Frisella call it? He calls it a bitch voice. So if your kids are watching, I'm sorry for using the B word, but that's what he calls it. He calls it a bitch voice. And we're all born, I said this yesterday, we're all born significantly unique. Of the 8 billion people on this planet, all of us are unique. All of us are different. All of us are different from the other people. We're all unique in our look. We're all unique in our thoughts. We're all unique in our effort. We're all unique in every single thing about us. But we go through life in this journey, and we go through life just trying to be like everybody else. Very few of us stay unique. Very few of us stay in this mode of being individual. Very few of us, matter of fact, it's frowned upon. There are things, and so, and I say this with a little bit of trepidation, just because there's so many people who take things to an extreme, right? So when I say these things, there's always an outlier. There's always an extreme. There's always an extreme case of somebody doing something crazy, somebody taking it to another level. There are kids who dress up as animals and think they're cats and dogs. There's a part about being unique, and then there's a part about being weird, being strange, being too far down the path. But we're all unique in our when we're born. We're all unique in our purpose. We're all unique in our path. We all go our own direction, and I think we lose sight of that. We lose sight of that in the everyday, the monotony of every day, the minutia of every day, the everyday of getting up and making our coffee and having breakfast and having a job and doing the things that we're supposed to be doing. We lose that thing in us where we lose our North Star. We lose where we're headed. We lose where we're going. We lose that thing that we're supposed to do that's unique to us. We lose our birthright that's given to us by God, by our Creator. We lose that thing that's in us that's supposed to be the thing that we share with the world, that unique talent that we develop other people with, that we help other people with. We seem to lose sight of that. We lose connection with that. And so as you get to a place in your life where you start to, and I've heard this in the 80s and 90s when I was a teenager, we called it finding ourselves. And so many kids that I knew would graduate from high school and they would go backpack in Europe. They would go travel to Europe, and they would go backpack, and they would go find themselves. They would go figure out what life was all about. Other people go to college to figure out what life's all about. Other people go get jobs to figure out what life's all about. And then some of us just get into a rut and decide this is what life's all about. We get into this rut where we just become complacent and resign ourselves. So this is what life is all about. And my challenge to you is this. Let me show you this video. And I don't know how much I'm going to show of this video, but I am going to show this video to you guys because I think it's something that I saw the other day. It's something I listened to the other day, and I do these, and I have these outside exercises that I do, these 45-minute minimum run walks that I do every single day, and I've done them for however long I've done them. But let me share this with you because I think it's super, super important. So let me share the screen with you guys.
From time to time to beat yourself up for the times you fell short. Let yourself down the times you swung and missed. For anyone who thinks a deviation from the original path is in some way a failure, my goal is to remind you that these things, every single one of them, they all come together to make you, you. And the more days I collect, the more I realize they are not only part of the chapter, but integral to the storyline. They're the character development. See, somewhere,
I'm not showing a video.
At some point along the way, you'll have situations that change, things that come and go, relationships that fall apart. Forever things that ended up being rather temporary. And that animal brain will tell you that, this was somehow a total loss, that your days were wasted, your time was stolen. It won't highlight for you how much you actually learned, or that point in time gave life to the next thing, which became the next, which opened the door to the next, that it was all part of this critical evolution. The thoughts you think, wisdom you now hold, none of that is ever realized without you having taken the path you took. And so I ask, was that a detour? Or was that you being exactly where you needed to be?
So that if y'all have not ever heard Eddie Pianer, this guy just came upon. He's a guy that I listen to. I listen to his 40. He does these wonderful vlogs or talks. They're wonderful. So I want to ask you a question, and something that he just said, and this is so applicable to what we're talking about today. Successful people just don't have goals. They have big goals. But we get into this rut, when we get into this resignation, when we get into this thing that it just is what it is. How many of you realize when you make your goals, you make goals more times than not? You set your targets more times than not as something that you are likely to hit, as something that you feel or think you can accomplish. It is something that you look at and say, I can push myself this far, but no further. When I set this goal, I'm going to set this goal with a voice in my head that says, okay, that's as far as you need to go. You're going to set this goal with a voice in your head that says, that's all you can accomplish. Let's just write that one down. So many of us don't set a goal and then look at that goal and say, you know what, I've got so much more in me. When I look at 75 hard, and I'm going to use this because what he just said is, what if you setting those goals? What if you going and doing that thing? What if you setting that thing that's uncomfortable for you? What if you writing that thing down on a piece of paper is something that challenges you, not here, but here? They call them big, hairy, audacious goal, BHAGs. I can't remember the guy that first came up with that term, but Tom Ferry uses BHAGs. Grant Cardone calls it 10X rule. You talk to people who are successful, and they always say, when you set this goal, always elevate it. If you say, I need to make $30,000 this year, double that. Set yourself a goal that pushes you. Because, and I learned this in 75 Hard, I could have done 75 days. And now that I'm looking back and I sort of evaluate this, I'm gonna write all these things down to evaluate this and to evaluate the journey and kind of take a note and an inventory of what I've done. And Michelle, like I said the other day, I would encourage you to do the same thing. I could have gone through 45 or 75 days and I could have gone through the motions. I could have gone to the gym and I could have gone 45 minutes and I could have lifted the same kind of weights. I could have taken the 30-pound dumbbells and done 30-pound dumbbell presses like I started doing the entire time. And it would have been sufficient. I could have gone outside and I could have walked every single day for 45 minutes and it would have been sufficient. It would have been enough to meet the standard of 75 Hard. I could have read 10 pages in a book and let that be the minimum and let that be the maximum and read my 10 pages and been done with it. I could have been on a diet. I could have done no alcohol. I could have done all those things. Y'all, I could have done things and gone through the motions, done the minimums. I could have done exactly what was asked of me in this program and been successful. And at the end of the day, I would have been successful. I would have gotten on 75 days. I would have finished my second workout. I would have gotten an email that said, congratulations, you've done it. But that's not where the value is. That's not where the victory is. That's not where the change occurs. Change doesn't occur when you do the standard. Change doesn't occur when you meet the minimum. Value isn't gained when you meet the minimum. When we set goals that are here, goals that are easily attainable, goals that all we got to do is just go through the motions and be who we've been forever and do the same thing and get the same thing, y'all, there's no value in that. There's no achievement in that. There's no success in that. So when I say to you, successful people just don't have goals and dreams. They have big goals and dreams. They are pushing themselves. They go through the change. They take the detours. Because guess what's going to happen? If you set a goal and you don't hit it, what you learn in the process of not hitting that goal, of not meeting that goal, what you learn is how much you'll push, how hard you'll go. So for me, the past 75 days has been, okay, here's the goal for this week, but here's the goal for next week, and it's going to push me. Last night, I didn't want to go to the gym. I didn't want to go do a second workout, but I went to go to the gym and I picked up 65-pound dumbbells and I started doing 65-pound dumbbell presses because that's double where I started 75 days ago. And the only reason I got 65-pound dumbbells and picked them up and can do sets of 65-pound dumbbell presses now is because I pushed myself in the beginning. And I pushed myself for the past 75 days to do more. The only reason I can run an entire almost 45 minutes now is because I decided I wasn't just going to walk the 45 minutes. I wasn't just going to meet the minimum standard, but I was going to push myself. The reason I'm on book 9, and matter of fact, I just started book 10, is because I'm not going to do the minimum. Because if a little bit's good, then a lot's got to be better. That's just the way I think. And sometimes the world says a lot's not better. And sometimes you get gout in your foot. And sometimes other things happen. And sometimes life throws you a curveball. And you got to figure out and you have to readjust your goal. Because sometimes you find people who go more, and they lose sight of where they are. But I'm telling you right now, and I believe this with my whole heart, change comes as a result of growth. That's the one thing, and I think I want to talk about this tomorrow, about change and about how things altered, about how things transition, about how things evolved. He used the word evolution. Sometimes the detours in our life just show us the next evolution in who we are. And sometimes when we see these goals that are here, again, I say this all the time. If you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always had. And I can use this in the real estate business very, very easily. If you call the same kinds of people, if you do the same amount of effort, if you wake up every single day and you do the same things, you hand out the same pot buys, you hang out in the same places, you do the same things, you're having the same conversations, your results are going to inevitably be the same. The only way that you get more, do more, be more is you push. You got to walk up the mountain before you can get to the summit. You got to walk up the mountain and figure out how bad that sucks, and you got to go back. I haven't even told my wife this, but Sean Swarner reached out to me and wants to have a conversation with me on Friday. Sean Swarner is the guy who's climbed the 7 continents, the guy that I mentioned yesterday. His story is absolutely unbelievable. But he texted me last week and said, "Hey, I want to connect with you. When can we connect?" And I'm like, "What do I have to offer you, dude? You're like a superhuman being." But I'm happy to connect. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. I don't know what you want from me. I don't know what I can do for you, but I'm happy to have a conversation because you don't ever know what that conversation is going to lead to. But what I'm challenging you to do today, it is March the 13th. You're at the end of the first quarter of 2023, y'all. We're already at the end of the first quarter. We're coming on the end of this first quarter of the year. And I hear people say my business is down. I hear people say I'm not making as much money. I see our numbers as a company being down. We're going through this transition. Everybody's freaking out. Everybody's like, well, I got to have this, and I need to see that, and what color is this going to be, and what's that going to look like, and do I get to drive the same car? Can I wear my hair the same way? Am I going to make this much money? What can I do over here? Everybody's freaking out about this transition that we're going through. But I'm telling you, this detour that we're taking is taking us to a level that y'all we've never ever been to in our lives. You've never been to. I've never been to. The circles that we are in, the things that are happening. I always talk about when people ask me about meeting Christy and talk about me meeting my wife and us creating this life together is the vision that I have in my head is almost like planets that rotate in the solar system, because if you believe in this, that in the universe there's a solar system, and in the solar system there are planets. We happen to be on a planet called Earth. The scientific research shows that the planet Earth is round. The planet Earth rotates a certain direction, but it rotates around a certain axis, and that axis then rotates around a certain axis. So things are just inevitably spinning around each other. So the analogy that I use for me and Christy is that we were out here spinning and individuals, and out here doing our thing and rotating planets. And every now and again they would get closer. And every now and again, I would live in Warner Robins, and she had family in Warner Robins. And every now and again, she's from Florida, and I lived in Florida. And every now and again, we get in real estate together. And every now and again, those planets would get closer till finally they came together. And when those planets finally came together, when those circles, those concentric circles finally ended up in the same spot, something magical happened. And I believe right now we are going through the same exact thing. If I go back and start to connect the dots and I go back and start to connect the things that I've said, the things that I've written, y'all, I've got books and books of journals. I've got books and books of words. I've got notes and notes and piles and piles of notes that I've taken that I believe where we are now is a culmination of those circles coming together, of those words all coming together. So here's what I'm telling you right now. I want you to look at your goals, what you have, and I want you to challenge them. I have challenged myself with big goals. I told y'all this. I'm so super close to doing it 100%, but it's life, and life happens. But this is a book full of goals, a book full of things that I try to write every single day, down once or twice a year, once or twice a month, once or twice a year. I'm writing them every day. I'm writing my goals down every single day. I'm keeping these things in front of me because I'm going to keep those things fresh in my mind. Y'all, successful people don't just have goals. They have big goals. There are goals in this book that are bigger than I believe is possible. There are numbers that I've written down that I believe in my heart. And Aaron Dwyer, who Aaron Dwyer is on March the 13th, 2023, the numbers on these goals push me to a place that makes me feel uncomfortable. And sometimes the bitch voice says that ain't ever going to happen. The same bitch voice that says you need to quit running because it hurts. The same bitch voice that says you don't need to lift these 50-pound dumbbells because they're too heavy. The same bitch voice that says it's going to be easy for you to go get in the bed and lay down than it is for you to go to the gym at 10 o'clock. It's that same bitch voice that says just continue doing the same thing you're doing now. Because if you do anything differently than that, you're going to be made fun of. Somebody's going to talk about you. You're going to lose your butt. You're going to lose everything that you've worked for. It's that same voice. So my challenge to you is this. Successful people don't just have goals. They look at those goals and they look at them and smile at them and they say, you know what? That's a goal I would have set for myself last year. That's a goal I would have set for myself 6 months ago. That's a goal I would have set for myself yesterday. But that's not a goal I'm going to set for myself today. That's not something I'm going to do for myself today because I'm willing to go push myself to be uncomfortable. I've become so uncomfortable in the uncomfortable that I'm willing to push myself to a new level. You know what? I want to make $100,000 in real estate, so I can't just talk to 3 people every single day. I need to talk to 7. I want to make $200,000 in real estate today, so I can't just be good at referrals. I got to be fantastic at my referral business. I want to make $300,000 in the real estate business, so not only do I need to talk to 8 or 9 people new every single day, but I'm going to be fantastic in my referral business. But not only do I need to be fantastic in my referral business, but I need to step outside my comfort zone and go find people that I'm not used to talking to. And I need to go walk in circles I'm not used to walking in. And I need to go have conversations with people, with folks I'm not used to having conversations with. I need to learn something new. I need to figure out a new way to market myself. I need to stay good in my TikToks. I need to get my YouTube channel built up. I need to be consistent in my, y'all hear what I'm saying? Because I can't want it for you enough. Your mentor can't want it for you enough. Your mentee can't want it for you enough. And so what happens a lot of times, we get to this place where we look around, because inevitably, this is what's going to happen. I've seen it happen. I'm hearing it happen even right now. We get to this place in our lives where we look at where we are and we say, this isn't good enough. I need to change. This isn't working. I need to do something different. And so what happens is what we do as humans is we start to blame. Holy smoke. Somebody died. Inevitably, as humans, we don't look inside. We look outside. We look for other people to blame. We will not take inventory of the fact that it was our lack of effort day after day after day, that it was our lack of attention to our business day after day after day, that it was us not doing the things that we knew we needed to do day after day after day that got us to this place. And then when we get to this place and we feel bad about ourselves, we feel down about the results. We look at ourselves in the mirror and we don't like what we see. When we think about all the things that we are in the present moment, what we don't take inventory of is all the things we've done previously to get us to this point. And so then we blame, it must be somebody else's fault. Then we blame, it must be something out there's fault. Then we blame, it must be something over there's fault. And so we make a change. We go do something different. Y'all, we've had people that have said, look, I need to change in my business. I need to go do something different. I need to go be something else. I don't know if it's working or not working for them. I don't know if it's doing it or not doing it for them. But I know when you make a decision to leave something without taking an inventory of who you are, what you do, and you leave a situation hoping that leaving the situation to create a new situation is going to make you a different person, let me just tell you, it ain't. Because the only person who's going to make you a different person, the only person who's got the ability to change the direction of change the trajectory of your rocket, change the trajectory of your journey to reach the destination that you set for yourself, the only person that can do it is you, is me. And that's what I've loved about the last 75 days. And Michelle, I might get you to jump up here next Thursday and get on this call with us and maybe get out of your comfort zone a little bit, because I think you've got a story to tell about your last 75 days. Because I believe the last 75 days have been monumentally transformative for me as an individual. Mentally, physically, emotionally, I feel differently on March 13th, 2023 than I did January 13th, 2023. I promise you. I not only feel different, but I look different than I did 2 months ago. Michelle Tilson's the same exact way. She looks different than she looked 2 months ago. She feels different about herself than she did 2 months ago. She is mentally stronger. She's emotionally stronger. She's gotten to a place where she feels better about Michelle than she did 2 months ago, because what she did is she put herself in the ringer. She threw herself in the fire. She threw herself in the ring and said, you know what? Let's do this thing. Kristen, I'm glad you're here. Good morning. Don't panic. Successful people that only set goals, y'all, they set big goals. They set big, hairy, audacious goals. They set goals for themselves that were previously they believed them to be unattainable. It's amazing to me when you get to this spot where you're challenged, when you get to this spot where there's a crossroads, where you get to this detour, as Eddie Pierno talked about, when you get to this detour in your life where it doesn't look the way you thought it was going to look. When you pull up to the intersection and the sign's pointing you a different direction and you're saying, but I want to go that way. That's the way I want to go. And the guy in the hard hat saying, sorry, ma'am, you can't go that way. You got to go this way. And you start to feel all that angst inside. You start to feel all that ich inside and all that. You start getting mad at the guy for telling you have to go that direction. I see it all the time. When you pull up to the intersection and you want to go straight, and the guy's telling you, but you have to go right because there's a giant hole in the road up here. And if you drive straight like you typically want to drive, and you go straight like you want to do, then your car is going to fall in a hole and you're going to hurt yourself. And so I need you to take a detour to go this direction. And you get pissed off and you get mad at the dude in the hard hat for protecting you. You get mad at the guy in the hard hat for protecting your vehicle. You get mad at the hard hat for just doing his job and looking out for the folks who don't need to drive down that road. And so on this detour, you happen to see a house when you're driving on that detour that you really, really like. And it happens to be a for sale by owner. And you call the for sale by owner house because you know a client who happens to need a house like that. You call the guy that's the for sale by owner. You say, hey, I've got a guy that happens to want your house. And then you call the for sale by owner, and the guy that wants to sell his house says, okay, come show it. And the person that you're working with as a buyer loves that house and they go buy it. And if it hadn't been for that detour, you'd never seen that house. You'd never made that sale. Do y'all understand? That's how life works. That's what life requires of us. That's why when you set a goal that you're comfortable with, you need to stop. And if you're comfortable with the goal that you have right now, then you need to push yourself. You need to change that goal. You need to up the ante. You need to challenge yourself. Stop going to the gym and lifting 30-pound dumbbells and expecting that you're going to be stronger. Yes, you're going through the motions. Yes, it's better than not doing it, but you're not realizing your full potential. You're not being where you need to be. You're not doing the thing that you need to do. I started a new book last night in the bed. I tried to start reading it, man. I was so tired. I got 2 books going right now. So I got blue fishing. This is the power of the art of making things happen. And this guy talks about stop being perfection, right? Stop trying to be a perfectionist. Stop trying to figure everything out before you make the move. You know what? You're never going to have enough money. You're never going to know enough. You're never going to have all the answers. Something's always going to be different. So go make the damn move. Go do the thing. And when you go do the thing, what you're going to find out is what works and what doesn't work. When you go do the thing, what you're going to find out is red is better than green. What you're going to go find out is that sand is better than clay. What you're going to find out is that white houses are better than black houses. I don't know what you're going to find out, but what I do know is when you make the step toward that big goal, when you make the step toward that next thing, when you push yourself into that next deal, you're going to figure out what works and what doesn't work. Here's a perfect example. I don't know why the gout started. Y'all, I've had any alcohol. My food intake's been relatively mild. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden this past Friday, my toe started hurting again. I'm like, where the heck is this coming from? No idea. So Christy and I were talking yesterday, and I'm trying to figure out what have I done in my diet? What's different in my diet? What's different in what I've been doing? Where is the anomaly? What new has happened that would possibly create this flare-up? And we narrowed it down to protein shakes. Protein shakes. I don't know what I don't even know what kind they're called because I don't remember. But muscle milk. Muscle milk protein shakes. I was going to add some additional protein to my diet. It's feeling a little bit better. Added a little bit of protein to my diet. I was going to add muscle milk. They're supposedly good. They're advertised as being great for you, or I don't know if they're great for you, but they're advertised as being a very sugar-free source of protein. I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. So I start introducing protein into my diet. Only come to find out that the ingredients in muscle milk many of those ingredients in muscle milk are indicators and can be aggravators if you've got whatever these things I've got in me that creates the gout in my toe, that it aggravates it. And we start doing research, start looking and see, okay, these types of protein shakes aren't good for you. You should stop these. So I do something that I think is good for me. I do something that I believe is going to help me, only come to find out that it's not helping me. Which just is another intersection that says, okay, if I'm going to add protein into my diet, now I've done some research, now I've done some reading, now I've got to figure out what it is. I started doing the thing, and I figure out in the process of doing the thing what works and what doesn't work. Because guess what? Life doesn't reward the comfortable. Life rewards the courageous. Life rewards. Good morning, Caitlin. Don't you worry about it. You just get here when you can get here. I'm telling you, get here when you can get here. Life doesn't reward the comfortable. It rewards the courageous. There are going to be times in your life where you're going to have to set a goal that feels absolutely outside your comfort zone. When you're going to have to set a goal and the voice on your shoulder says, you're never going to do it. You're never going to accomplish that. There's no way you can do that. Do y'all understand? When I started 75 Hard and I decided that I was going to run 45 minutes and I was going to run 45 minutes straight, the voice on my shoulder said, Aaron, you're not a runner. I said that to y'all on these calls. I've had those conversations with people who are runners. And I said, you know what? God didn't listen to these are the words that I said with my mouth. God didn't build me to be a runner. I'm not 6'1" thin. I'm 5'9" and stocky. I'm 230 pounds. I'm 202 pounds or maybe 200 pounds. Could be this morning 199. I don't know. But God didn't build me to be a runner. And I had all these excuses and all these reasons why God didn't build me to be a runner, why God didn't build me to go run for fun, why God didn't build me to do these things. And I talked myself into hating running, and I talked myself into despising running. I talked myself into this. But I said, you know what? I'm going to run 45 minutes. I'm going to go run a 5K. At the end of this deal, I'm going to go be able to go run a 5K. And I had to fight every single outside workout that I ran and walked. Because here's how it started. It started as a 40, and I'm just going through this because this is how life works. This is how our goals work. This is how this works for you, because life doesn't reward the comfortable. Life rewards the courageous. Big things don't happen. Big change doesn't happen from comfort. Big change happens because of change. Big change doesn't happen because you're comfortable. Big change happens because you get uncomfortable. Big change happens because you're courageous and you step into the breach and you put yourself out there and you just say, bring it on. Come what may. I'll make this thing work. Some of you are in this spot right now. And maybe I'll talk, and I think I'm going to talk about this tomorrow. That some of you are in this spot right now, and inevitably, change is hard. It hurts. The day when I go walk 45 minutes, the day that I decided to start adding 5-minute runs into my 5-minute walks, those 5-minute runs hurt. And not the first one or two, they were pretty easy. But the last segment of the last 5 minutes of a run was pretty hard. And it was hard for a while, to the point that I dreaded doing it. To the point when my watch would go off after my 5-minute walk, I would have this angst, this feeling inside my chest that, I got to go run now. And then I would go run. And I would struggle. And I would fight. And I told you all the time that I quit. There's a run here in Hartwell. The main roads here, and all the roads that lead to the main road are all uphill. And there was one particular road that I would dread. As soon as I walked outside and started my walk, I was already dreading that run, that portion of the run, because I knew it was all uphill and I knew what my body felt like in that run. I could go back and I could revisit how bad the past felt. I could go back and revisit how bad it felt to go run, to do that. How many times do you do that? You pick up your phone and you revisit how bad it felt to get rejected yesterday. You pick up your phone and you revisit how bad it felt to be told no yesterday. You start trying to do something in your social media marketing, and you revisit how bad it didn't work the last time, how embarrassed you were the last time you did it. So you revisit the past. You revisit the mistakes. You revisit all the negative emotion. Y'all, I did the same thing. But what I did on that one particular morning is I punished myself. And I did. I gave myself a consequence for not doing it. Because guess what? Life gives you consequences. When you look at your bank account and you got $15 in your bank account, and you look at your transactions and you've only got 1 or 2 transactions and you don't have any buyers, and you look at where you are right now and you don't understand those are the consequences of what you've not done in the past. You don't understand, and you don't realize, you don't recognize. You blame the market. You blame buyers. You blame sellers. You blame exit. You blame Aaron. You blame Christy. You blame your husband. You blame your kid. You blame your dog. You blame the fact that you don't have the right telephone or the right computer, or you don't drive the right car, or you don't speak the right way, or you start blaming all this crap when really all it has to do with is you. So when I went out and I ran that morning and I quit before I got to the top of the hill. I quit before I finished that portion of the run. I quit with about 1.5 minutes left in that run. I said to myself, self, guess what you get today? You get an extra 5-minute run. Because guess what? That's the consequences of you not following through. That's the consequences of you not finishing. Hey, Teal, good morning. You're good. That's the consequences of you not finishing the drill. That's the consequences of you not doing what you knew you were supposed to do, because your responsibility was to run to the end of that 5-minute run. And because you didn't, you get an extra 5-minute run. And I did. And I'm telling you, I don't remember what morning that was, but I was here in Hartwell because I came in. I told Christy, sorry, I'm talking so fast. I came in and told Christy, I said, I ran an extra 5 minutes. I said, I gave myself a punishment run, a consequence run. And there was something happened to me that day that because I gave myself that consequence run, I never quit another run. I've not quit a run since. That if I set out to run, and so now what started as a 45-minute walk only transitioned into a 45-minute, 5-minute walk, 5-minute run, 5-minute walk, 5-minute run, transitioned into trying to run 7 or 8 minutes at a time with whatever, like a 2 or 3 minute walk in between. To 45 minutes to now, the last run I did before this gout flare up, the last run I did, I ran for the probably 90% of the time and had little, probably 45-second walks in between. To now, I believe I can go run a 5K. I really, truly believe I can go run a 5K. I can go run 5 miles. I believe I can go run a 5K right now. Matter of fact, I probably will sign myself up for one here pretty soon. And guess what? I'm the same dude on March the 13th in this physical body, although my physical body is a little bit different now. But I'm the same dude. I haven't transformed. I wasn't replaced with someone else, but I'm the same guy who 60 days ago said I'm not a runner. And I'm at the place now where if you ask me, would I rather go play golf or would I rather go run? I'm going to tell you I'd rather go play golf. I still don't recognize as a runner, right? I'm not, what's the term they use in the world now? I don't identify as a runner. That's not my thing yet, but I know I can go run a 5K. I know I can go run 3.5 miles, easy peasy. Isn't that crazy? So now once I go run a 5K, what's next? My goal at the beginning of the year was to read 24 books. Y'all, I'm going to read more than 24 books. I might read 30 books this year. My goals that I write down every single day, they started at the beginning of the year here. But you know when they changed? When I changed my circles. When I changed the people that I hung out with. When I started getting around different people. The Cheerio challenge. What's the Cheerio challenge? I have to look that up. I'll figure what that is, Caitlin. If it's eating Cheerios, I love Cheerios. I'll eat Cheerios. I love me some good Cheerios. I love bad Cheerios. I love plain Cheerios. Cheerios are delicious. Oh, it's a 5K at the Covington Y. I'll look into that. I'll see if I'm in town, I'll give it a shot. I can do that. Any excuse I can have to buy new running shoes, I'm good with. I'm just teasing. My wife's in the other room. She didn't hear me say that. I love shoes. Because I want to say this about my goals. Successful people don't just have goals, y'all. They have big goals. Look, we'll have a whole group. We'll have a whole group of collective. We'll get some collective swag. We'll get some Dry Fit collective. Ooh, that'd be fun. Ooh, when is that? April? That may be a great time to break out some collective Dry Fit swag. Could be a great time. Let me go back to where I was, and let me finish with this. God will give you detours at exactly the right time and exactly the right moment. We have a choice when those detours come up. We can stop, 3 choices probably. We can turn around and go back the other direction, and we can sit and wait for the detour to be gone. We can go back to the parking lot. We can go back and sit in our car, and we can just sit and wait for the guy in the hard hat to move the detour sign. We can go back to where we were. We can go back to what we were doing, and we can sit and do it like we've always done it, and be in the place we've always been, and be the person we've always been, and look at the world the way we've always looked at the world. You can turn around from the detour and go back to your place of comfort, and go back to your place of tradition, go back to your place of what you've known in the past, go right back to where you've been, hang on to your preconceived notions, hang on to your past experiences, hang on to the situations that make you feel comfortable. Y'all, that is a choice that you have when you come to the detour. Is you can go to the sign and you can go right back to where you were. Or you can drive to the sign and you can sit there at the sign, let all the traffic back up behind you, and just wait for the detour to move. Wait for the guy to move the sign. Be dead set on that's the direction you're going. Be stubborn. Be bulldogish about that's the direction I'm going. And I'll sit here and wait for you to leave. And as soon as you move that sign, I'm going the direction I want to go. You could be that person. And I think there's some good qualities in that. The problem is if you sit and wait for that sign to move, all the traffic backs up behind you. Everybody's honking at you. You're blocking the intersection. You're keeping other people from doing what they need to do. You may be in a position where you're blocking other people from being able to get where they've got to get because it's just about you. Those first two are just about you. Those first two are super, super selfish. Or you can take the detour. And when you turn right or turn left, you take whatever detour they're asking you to take, you open up your eyes, you see all the things around you, and then you realize, oh my gosh, I've never seen this part of the neighborhood. Oh my gosh, I never knew these people existed. Oh my gosh, look at what they've got down here. If they've got that, I could have that. That's what happens when you change your circles. That's what happens when you change what you look at. When you decide to change what you look at, the things that you see will change. When you decide to put yourself in circles that you've not been in before, you know when my goals changed? When I went to Puerto Rico, as a matter of fact, my goals started to shift when we did the Grant Cardone Unbreakable business. We put ourselves in a room. We paid money to be in a virtual room because we didn't go to Vegas, but we paid money to be in a virtual room, okay, to think differently, to have things said to us differently, to hear things differently than we said to them in the past. That, for me, shifted my mindset around a lot of my goals. Christy, when she was in that room previously, when she was in that room at the Growth Stack Drive Mastermind, and she heard Ed Mylett, she heard John Maxwell, she met Ken Jocelyn, she met some of the people in that room. Her circles started to change. What she started to look at started to change. The dude started putting the detour sign up in the street. Actually, the detour sign was put in the street long before that, probably. But she began to look at that detour sign in a much different light. She began to see that detour sign because I promise you, my wife was sitting at that detour sign waiting for that dude to move the sign. And she was honking her horn and saying, dude, you got to move that sign. She was going to try to find a way to get through that detour, to get down the road she decided to go down, regardless of how dangerous it was, regardless of what the dude said and the hard hat said, she was going that direction. And that's just my wife. She's a bulldog when it comes to that. That is Christy Dwyer in a nutshell. She is a bulldog when it comes to that. But what happened is our circles started to change. And then when we got to Puerto Rico, and we met the people that we met in Puerto Rico at that mastermind event there, we met the people who are doing things that they're doing in that mastermind there. Y'all, my goals significantly shifted. What I believe is possible significantly shifted. Because when you get in a room of people who are doing the thing, and you look at those people who are doing the thing, and you look, they don't wear capes. They don't look any differently than you look. They don't wear their clothes backwards or inside out. They don't wear their pants on their shoulders and their shirts on their legs. They look just like you do. They put their pants on and their shorts on, and they do the same things you do. They eat food the same way you do. They do the same things that you do, except they figured out. They made the decision. They put their heads down, and they worked through things at a different pace than I did and achieved things that I haven't achieved. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, we'll have Sean Swarner on one of our calls one morning. And when you see him, he's not physically impressive. When you see him, you don't look at like he's a superhuman. You don't see anything about him that you're like, okay, I see. I good gosh, look at him. I absolutely see that. No. But the dude is a superhuman. The dude is a superhuman. He's done something that 7 billion, I don't even know how to say this word. He's the only one that's done it. Of the 8 billion people on this planet, he's the only one that's done it. Those are the circles. That's the detour. That's the neighborhood that we're driving through now. So my challenge to you today is this. Look at your goals. Look at what you've set for yourself. Look at what you've said is possible. And then I want you to push it. You're in the first quarter. You got 3 quarters of the year left. How hard will you push it? How uncomfortable are you willing to be? How many tears are you willing to shed? How many muscle aches are you willing to get? How hard are you willing to breathe? How far are you willing to push yourself to do something bigger than you've ever done? To be something more than you've ever been? How willing are you to step in the breach and be uncomfortable? How willing are you to do what it takes to be something different than everybody else around you? How willing are you to look at where you are, but know where you're supposed to be? How willing are you to make yourself uncomfortable every single day, more and more, to the point that you enjoy being uncomfortable, where it ain't a big deal to you? Because y'all, I'm telling you, I'm not there yet. And there's still things that I'm super uncomfortable doing. There's still things that I still have this ego, this thing in me that says, this person's going to make fun of you. You don't drive y'all, I've got a 2014 Toyota Highlander that's wrecked in the front. It's got almost 270,000 miles on it. When I pull up in a parking lot of really impressive people, they don't look at Aaron Dwyer pulling up in a 2014 Highlander that's beat half to death. They go, man, that dude's impressive. That dude's got his ish together. That's not what they say. I promise you. So I've got some preconceived notions. I've got some things inside me that I got to fight through. I've got some things that I feel like in my ego and my bitch voice says to me, you don't measure up to this. You don't equate to that. You don't get to be in those circles yet. I still fight through that stuff, just like you do. But I got a book of goals. I got a wife and a family. I've got a collection of agents who I want nothing more than the absolute best of the world for. And that who Aaron and Christy get up every single day, y'all, I know this has been hard. I know this has been difficult. I know you want all the answers right now to get, but I promise you, here's what I can say to you. The answers will be given when the answers are there. And we will do everything in our power to make sure all the information that everybody needs is there in your hands, at your disposal, for you to make the best decision for you and your families. I promise we are working like dogs to get that done. My wife I'm telling you, she didn't move yesterday. I left the house that morning, got back last night, and she's still in the same spot. Matter of fact, the first words that Carson said when he walked in the door, he said, "You've been sitting there all day." She's like, "I got up and took a shower." She is working feverishly to make this happen. But this change, these circles, where we're headed, y'all, it is a rocket ship. It is. We're trading rocks for gold nuggets. We're trading gold nuggets for platinum, y'all. We are doing what? Just hang tight. I'm asking for you to believe in where we're going. I'm asking for you to believe in what we're doing. I'm asking for you to believe in where we're headed. And just let's lock arm in arm. Let's build this army of world changers. Let's build this army. Let's commit to each other, arm in arm, lockstep. I promise y'all, it's always the worst before it gets to be the best. Ken Jocelyn, Grant Cardone, this has been said over and over again. I heard this was on a reel the other day when Ken Jocelyn asked Grant Cardone, "Do y'all hear this? Like the circles that we're in." Ken Jocelyn, Grant Cardone, Gary Brecka, Vic Keller, Tony Robbins, Gandhi. I mean, y'all hear the circles that we're starting to be in, right? I mean, these people are having conversations with dudes that previously were like up here. They were like untouchable. Like, there's no way. One of my goals is I'm going to have a drink with Grant Cardone. I'm going to have a drink with, I don't know if he drinks, but I'm going to have a Gatorade with him. That's one of my goals this year. I promise you, I will be sitting across from Grant Cardone and I'll be having a beverage with him. Either a cold pop, a Gatorade, or a cold beer. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to happen. Promise you. But what he said was, I'm going to leave you with this. Ken Jocelyn, he was struggling. And he asked Grant Cardone, because Grant Cardone and Ken have a relationship. And he said, how do you know when it's about to happen? How do you know when it's time to keep going? And he says, your breakthrough always comes when it feels like it's the worst. Your breakthrough always happens when you feel like when it's all going away. When you feel like everything's falling apart, y'all, sorry. When you feel like everything's falling apart, that's when it gets put back together. When you feel like everything's falling apart, that's when the breakthrough happens. When you feel like everything is going to crap, that's when it all blows up. Tomorrow's our meeting in Madison. Please be there. I am imploring you guys. Wrap your arms around people. Wrap your arms around your fellow agents. Wrap your arms around the people that are in this company. Lock arms with each other. The ones that don't want to lock arms, they don't want to be a part of this. Y'all, I love y'all, but you got to go do what you got to go do for your family. But I'm telling you right now, the ones who decide to lock arms with us, the ones who decide to go this direction are going to be exposed to things, are going to experience things, and are going to see breakthroughs and successes in their lives that they never thought possible. That I know for sure. That I will promise you. That is a guarantee. So have your goals. Make them bigger. Make yourself uncomfortable. Do the things that you would never do previously. But most of all, be good, be great, and be you. Bye, y'all. I love y'all. See you tomorrow.